Please make yourself comfortable and we'll get started here in a moment. Good afternoon and welcome to the National History Day in Pennsylvania webinar and virtual contest information. My name is Jeff Hawks. I am the state coordinator for National History Day in Pennsylvania, and I'm going to walk us through the process and procedures for registering your students for the virtual contest and answer some questions about what the virtual contest is going to be like. The unfortunate news, of course, is that due to the current situation, we have no option but to conduct a virtual contest. The good news is that our judges are all on board. They're anxious and they're eager to look at your students' projects. And the process, while it might seem daunting, is actually fairly straightforward. So it shouldn't be too difficult to get your students registered and their projects uploaded. We will be available. I'm especially easy to contact via email. We are working remotely, but we will be available to help you through the process. Our goal here is to get your students registered and get their projects judged. So don't hesitate to reach out if you're having any trouble so that we can provide you the assistance you need to get it done. Today, we're going to be talking about the state contest website and the ZFAIRS registration system. We'll be talking a little bit about how the judges will be evaluating projects this year, given some of the challenges of the virtual contest. And we will be talking about the process for uploading your projects. There is information available on the state contest website. And so hopefully this presentation will supplement that and also include the visuals that will help you through the process. There's two ways you can ask questions. If you have something pressing, you can raise your hand or you can go ahead and put your question in the chat box as we go through. First, the state contest website, and the URL for the state contest website is down at the bottom of the slide. You can also get to it from the NHD and PA website, which is just pa.nhd.org. And that has a link to the state contest website. I've broken it into a couple of images here so you can see the top, the middle, and the bottom of what you'll find on the web page. And right here at the top, you will find information about it. It will link you to the registration site. That's the ZFAIRS system. It has the document about how to upload your virtual project, the virtual exhibit template, and then, of course, the standard information we have every year about the theme, the rule book, and the spectator and judging policy. So you can review those at your leisure. In the middle of the website, you'll see the information about the deadlines. We have extended the registration deadline to April 22nd. That is to give your students the most opportunity to get their projects into the proper format and get them uploaded. We are asking you to be very strict about meeting that deadline. We have a short turnaround time. We want to get this information out to the judges as soon as possible, and we have to be concerned about any issues they may have in getting access to the materials. So please stick to that deadline. It's very, very important. We also ask that when it comes time to uploading your projects, especially documentaries, this can take some time, especially when you have large files. So please ask your students not to wait until the last minute to upload those because, again, we're going to have to manage those files at our end as well. And so the sooner you can get them uploaded, the sooner we can do that and move on to getting them out to the judges. Below that, you will see the portal for online payments. And this is something new that we're doing this year, and hopefully it'll be helpful to you. To make a payment, students do need to go to the registration system to generate an invoice. Now, there's two ways to do that. If the school is paying, the teachers can log in click on their store tab, select all of their student fees and put them in the shopping cart and check out to generate an invoice. And what you're really going to need for online payment is that invoice number. If you're going to be sending in your payment, you're going to want to print a copy of that invoice or create an electronic copy that your school district can send a printed copy in for with that check. For individual payments, students have the option of logging in directly and going to their individual account. Again, clicking on the store tab, placing the student fee in the shopping cart, and checking out to generate an invoice. And again, the critical thing for the online payment is getting that invoice number. The form underneath it is our PayPal portal, and it does take credit cards. So all you need to do to make use of that is put in the student names, put in the invoices, and click on the Pay Now button, and that will take you through the rest of the process. And I believe we have a question, Mike? Okay, thought we had a question. Doesn't look like we do it this time. Okay. What is ZFairs? You've probably heard me refer to ZFairs in some emails and in this presentation. ZFairs is the new registration system. Those of you who remember the old Acuity system, I hope you'll agree that this is a much easier system to use. But this is the ZFairs system, and the direct portal for that is pa1.nhd.org. And that's where students will complete their registration and where they will upload their materials and put in their links and whatnot so that the judges can get access to them. If you use the ZFairs system at your regional contest, then you and your students will be able to log in using the same user ID and password. And there is a process for recovering your password if you've forgotten it. So you go to this website and you go right up here to log in and put in your information, and it should open up for you. If you have trouble getting access to it, you can always send me an email and I can help you with that. Student information, everything should still be there that they put in at the regional contest, but they do need to log in to complete their permission forms and to generate an invoice. And the system will let me know if they have not done that. So let's talk a little bit about the virtual state contests. Nationals made started the conversation about the virtual state contest early in March. And we put it together kind of quickly. But the basic premise is that students are going to submit their projects online into the ZFairs system. Excuse me. That's allergies, I'm not sick. The projects will be distributed to the judges, and the judges will view their projects and deliberate electronically. I've had some questions about whether or not the students will interview, and unfortunately, we do not, it's simply not feasible to try and arrange all of those online meetings. We're following the guidance from nationals. They will not be doing it for the national contest. With over 100 judges and potentially 700 or 800 students participating, it was just not feasible to set up hundreds of separate meetings to get all of those people to those meetings. So we will not be holding interviews with the students. Also, because the students are not presenting their projects in the normal way, and because some of them lost time and lost the ability to work in groups, we are going to be stressing to the judges that they need to focus on the historical quality of the project. So we have over here a model of a judging evaluation form from the exhibit category, but they're all very similar. And this one is, it shows the historical quality, which is the top portion. It's always been the biggest portion of the evaluation criteria. This year, we will stress to the judges that they need to give it the majority of the weight and not be critical of the clarity of the presentation, because students are not having the opportunity to present their projects in the way that they normally will. Once that is done, we will have an award ceremony online in some fashion. We hope any suggestions that any of you would like to make about what would help make that special for the kids, please forward it to us and we'll look into the feasibility of that. But we're going to do something online because we want to recognize the students. And that's really why we're doing this, is because History Day is not just a day, it's a year-long process for the students. They've been putting in a tremendous amount of work. And they deserve to have judges look at it, and they deserve to have some feedback about how they did, and a little bit of celebration about the efforts they've made and the quality of research that they've accomplished. So, okay, let's take a look at how these projects are going to be submitted to the ZFAIR system. Papers, exhibits, and performances are all going to be submitted in more or less the same way. Everything will need to be combined into a single PDF file for an entry. Now, the ZFAIR system does allow students to upload a file, but only one file. So the students in the paper category will have to combine their paper and their annotated bibliography into a single PDF file and upload it to the ZFAIR system. And I have visuals, and I'll show you where that takes place in subsequent slides. For the exhibit, the students are going to use the exhibit template on the state contest website to guide them in formatting their exhibit for virtual judging. If you saw, that was in the top part of the website. That is a form. We actually got that form from Nationals, and it's a way for them, it creates a level playing field, and it's a way for them to present their exhibit and present their research and their documentation in a way that is feasible for us to upload to the system. Some students will not have access to their physical projects. Some projects are still locked in schools. Those students obviously will not be able to upload images of their board. They can instead upload the images that they have that go with their board and any other visuals that they believe is something that they would have put on their board if they hadn't finished constructing it, so that they can create the visuals that would go along with their project. They will put all of their written materials, any student composed words will go in, and that can just be cut and pasted in. And they will also include their process papers and bibliographies into that one file. Now, the template was created using PowerPoint. Students may use Google Slides if that's what they have access to, or really any other program that allows them to create a PDF as long as it stays in that format. So if you have questions about that, please let us know, but Google Slides would work, PowerPoint would work, even a Word document, if you change the orientation to landscape, should work for that as well. Save that as a PDF and upload it to the ZFAIR system. As far as performances go, we really agonized over this one, and we agonized nationwide. There were questions, there was concerns. We had several Zoom meetings with the national staff, the national director, Dr. Gorn, and really the entire body of state coordinators. And at first the suggestion was, let's have students videotape their performances and submit the videos. And really it was not feasible because of the way that the quarantines were put in place. Different areas went under lockdown at different points in time. And we really felt that we could not ask students to do this. We also felt that it was not appropriate to give students the option, because we felt that that would put undue pressure on students to possibly violate quarantine or otherwise take a risk that they shouldn't be taking in order to upload their performance videos. So what we decided is that the students will upload their script, annotated bibliography, and process paper in one file, save it as a PDF, and upload it to the ZFair system. And the judges will take it from there. It's not optimal, but we went back and forth with this for a long time, and we concluded that this was the best option available to us under the circumstances. So how do you upload these things? First thing you do is you log into ZFairs, and the portal for that is pa1.nhd.org. And that will take you to the ZFair system, and you'll see something that looks like this. You'll go over and use the login button. And once your student is logged in, they'll see their name here, and they'll be able to click on the arrow and get this little drop-down menu. And from there, they will click on My Profile. When they click on their profile, they will see a profile that looks like this, and there'll be a lot of information down here, names and addresses and email and whatnot. But what they're really looking for papers, exhibits, and performances is over here in the right-hand column, they'll see a field marked Entries Paper. And what they'll do there is they'll click to upload the file, and they'll go through the process. It'll ask them to select their file, and they will upload their file there. Once it is uploaded, we'll be able to see it, and we will be checking before we send them out to the judges. So I really suggest that not only do you have the students upload their files, but you ask them to send, if you're a teacher, ask the students to send you a copy so that we can reach out to you directly if there's a problem with your student's paper. And instead of having to wait for you to contact the student, you've got a copy of it already. That you can send to us if we need that. So that's a pretty simple and straightforward process, and that will be the same for papers, exhibits, and performances. You save it; they'll save their materials as a PDF. They'll come to their profiles and they'll upload their files from there. Websites. Most of you have your students already participated at the regional level using ZFairs. So your information, the student's information should already be in there. So again, they will log in using the same process. They will get to their profile and they will see, only the website students will see, the NHD Web Central site key. And that's where they put in the numerical portion of their URL. It should already be in there if they registered through the regional contest. If not, if they're coming up through another contest, they can put it in manually. And then again, what that'll do is once they save that, and always they have to make sure that they scroll down, to the bottom of the page and save. But once they do that, we'll be able to see it, and so will the judges when they get their judging assignments and log into the system themselves. Documentaries. Documentaries are the most complex. Now, the benefit for the documentaries is like the websites and the papers, they're going to see the least change to the way that their projects are judged. They're going to upload their projects so that we can send them to the judges for viewing. So what you need to do to prepare the project for uploading is combine your process paper and bibliography into a single file and save as a PDF. The documentary itself needs to be saved as an MP4, and that format was chosen in conjunction with the national office, who selected that as the most versatile format, the one that's least likely to give us any problems. That's the format that they will be requiring for the national contest as well. If you run into serious problems converting your students run into serious problems converting to an MP4, let us know, and we'll work with you, and we'll bring in the national office with their tech expertise if necessary, and see what we need to do to get it done. I do encourage you, please, if you're having trouble, let me know before the registration deadline. That gives us the most time and most wiggle room to get your problem solved. So please encourage your students to get started early on these projects so that we have time to fix them before that registration deadline kicks in. Once your students are ready, they will go to nhdmpa.wetransfer.com, and the website will look like this when they arrive. This is a file transfer site. It's been used successfully for some of our regional contests. It's been used for some contests in other states. And so it has a good track record. It also has a very large storage capacity. The file upload size, the maximum file upload size is 20 megabytes, but we have a lot of storage up there, so you can go right to the limit and really not worry that we're going to run out of space. So you'll go to the website, and here you can see close up. What the students are going to do is they're going to click on this blue plus sign to select their files. They'll double check that email too has my email address in it, eddirector@armyheritage.org. That way I will get a notification when they upload their documentary. Then they need to put in their email. It can also be your email. It needs to be an email that that the student or somebody associated with a student can check. Please ask your students to be careful not to use a school email that does not accept emails from outside the school domain. If they do that, they're going to have to repeat the process because they need the information that's going to come in the confirmation email to complete the process. So put in their email. They can put their name in the message slot if they want, and then they click transfer. Now it'll take some time for the project to upload, but once it does, they will shortly after that get a confirmation message in their email. That confirmation message will include a short URL to their download. That URL will allow anybody to download and view that documentary. So they need to copy that short URL that comes in that email and enter that URL into ZFairs. And again, the way that they're going to do that is they're going to log into the system. They're going to navigate to their profile. And they're going to scroll down to where they see project link. And that is where they're going to enter their project link. That will be the short URL that comes in that email from ZFairs. Excuse me, wetransfer.com. They will also use the file upload to upload their process paper and their bibliography, again, saved as a single PDF. And that is that. That is how they will do it. And once they have completed that process, we will double check, and we will double check before the deadline, the registration deadline, and send out notifications if you haven't uploaded your information yet. We'll try to keep you posted and send out reminders, hey, this needs to be done. But once the students complete the process, we'll be able to see their information in the registration, and we'll take it from there. You can always contact us if you want to double check, make sure it took, and I'm happy to go ahead and look in the registration system and let you know if your student's all set. Otherwise, we will be monitoring and we will be contacting you if we've not heard, if for some reason it hasn't worked. We will be verifying that all of the files uploaded successfully. I've got some volunteers who are willing to do that, who will be checking those URLs. They'll be checking those uploaded files and making sure that everything is working. So again, I do recommend that not just with the papers, but with all the process papers, I recommend you gather all this information from your students, because the fastest way for us to fix a problem would be if we could contact the teachers directly and you already have the information so that we can get that into the system. That is it in a nutshell. I think it is a fairly straightforward system. I do encourage you to encourage your students, again, please start early, but also to try and do it with the instructions at hand and following the instructions step by step. They will be less likely to get confused or make an error and upload something in the wrong place. Also, note, the only one student in a group needs to do it. Once a paper is uploaded or once a URL or Web Central key is put in, it is put in for the entire project. So you don't have to have, if you have 5 students in a group, only one of them needs to do it. So that is one of the benefits of the ZFair system. It works a little bit better in terms of not every student having to go in to load up the same information.
Hey, Jeff?
Yeah.
We have a number of questions. I'd like to just go through them just to make sure we answered them all, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'll send you one. The first one is, can they pay by credit card? And where do they find the application?
Okay, to pay by credit card, I'm going to scroll up to the top of okay, so to pay by credit card, you go to the state contest website, and it's this long URL here. I'm afraid I don't have a short URL for it. I'll throw this up on the NHGAPA Facebook page. You can also link to the state contest website through the program page, which is just pa.nht.org. And again, so we have, here's what you'll see at the top of that web page. Here's what you'll see in the middle of that web page, and then down at the bottom, you'll see the online payments with the instructions. You need to get your invoice number. You need to put in the names of the students that you're making payments for. Invoice numbers, you can do multiple invoice numbers with a single payment, and you click on the Pay Now link, and you'll select the number of fees that you are paying and continue the process through there. So you go right through the state contest website to do that, and it's all down at the bottom of the page.
Okay, do they need to have the invoice before they do the PayPal payment?
Yes, we need the invoice number so we know who's paying, what invoice to credit with that payment. So yes, please go through and get your invoice number first. We won't be able to go click through if you don't have a number in that invoice in this field here.
Okay.
And
then
again,
another question.
Go ahead.
Okay, will performances be judged based only on the scripts or pictures of the students, props, sets allowed?
We have not publicized pictures of the props and the sets would be included, and so we're going to have to go because of the concern that some students wouldn't get the word at this point. They may have already put their presentation together, so we're going to have to stick with just the scripts and the process papers and the bibliographies. That may change for the national contest, but students will have more time to do it for that.
Okay, I need to, another question. For exhibits, do we need to make the text of the process paper and annotated RefBib fit onto one of several slides? And should we enlarge the font to make it more legible?
I think it's actually, that's a really good question. Go ahead, don't worry about page limits. Go ahead and enlarge the fonts to make it more visible to the judges as they're going to be reading it. There's no, the 500 student composed word limit still applies, but there's no page limit. So you can go ahead and make the fonts big. And also I do please recommend, make sure that you use high resolution photographs because we don't want the judges may want to zoom in on them. And so you're going to want to make sure you've got high resolution photographs as well.
Okay. Another question, is there a specific order for the script, annotated bib, and process paper?
There is no mandated order. I think script first, process paper, then bibliography would make the most sense, but the judges aren't going to be penalizing anybody if they're in a different order.
Another question is the web cutoff still April 15th?
No, the web cutoff, if you look on the state contest website, that's the go-to place for all updated information. The websites will lock at midnight on April 22nd. That is also the registration deadline.
Is it possible for us to change the name of our project?
Yes, the students can change the name of their project by logging in and going to their profile. And you can't see it here. I didn't take a picture of it, but the name of the project is down there, and they can go ahead and change it and verify that it's updated. And yes, they can change the name of the project. Absolutely.
Okay. Next question is, where can I find a rule book for the competition?
You will find the rule book on the state contest website right here. And that actually will link you, that link will actually take you to the national organization, to their website. And so we will always have the most updated version of the rule book there. You can also, if you have a problem with that, or if you want a direct copy, feel free to email me and I can email one back to you.
Again, what is the final deadline for submitting and uploading of projects?
And the deadline, the registration deadline, the payment deadline, and the website lockout date are all April 22nd.
Okay. Next question. Once a paper or documentary is uploaded, can changes be made to them before the registration closes?
If you want to make changes, contact me and we'll look into it. I believe that you can just switch out a document anytime you want, but if you need to make changes, contact me and we'll make sure those changes take.
Next one is, will the student be able to get the invoice number if the student is paying directly instead of the school?
Yes, the student will log in, and when they do, I think, once they log in, they'll see the store right here. And so an individual student can go into the store, they'll see the item, the registration fee, they add that to their cart and go to checkout. Once they check out, it will generate an invoice that they can print. I strongly recommend you print it or save it somehow, but they can also get the invoice number off of that. So yes, students can do that individually, or teachers can do it for the students.
Okay, next one is, are we allowed to add pages to our website?
You can add I mean, you get to, the website category really hasn't changed. You can do whatever is consistent with the rules. There is a word limit, but you can add pages and additional information to your website. Yes, absolutely. Even if your website's already in the system, it won't lock until that lockout date of April 22nd. So you are free to modify it as you see fit within the rules up until that date.
Okay. Why was MP4 format chosen instead of submission by YouTube URL? Is it permissible to submit? Is it permissible to submit both formats so there's a backup?
You won't be able to submit the YouTube URL. You'll only be able to submit one. We chose not to use YouTube because History Day has had experience with content being deleted, taken down by YouTube for copyright violation. So we didn't want to run the risk that some students would upload their projects to YouTube, and then just before the judges go to look at them, it would turn out that it was unavailable. You can absolutely have YouTube as a backup, and then if something goes wrong with the WeTransfer, we can reach out to you and try to get it. Remember, our goal here is to get your students' projects in front of the judges, so backup plans are always a good idea. But please use the WeTransfer as your first plan and put that information into the ZFair system.
Next question, if the school pays the fee, does the student need to do anything?
No, if the school is paying the fee, the teacher should be able to generate the invoice and it will all be taken care of. If something goes wrong with that, we will be sending out reminders. So if you do get a reminder close to the deadline that you still have an outstanding fee and your school is paying, please go ahead and check with the school to make sure that that's still in the works.
Okay. Can we pay first and then upload on another day before registration closes?
Yes.
Okay, and let me see if I got these two. For an exhibit, should we make the text of the process paper and the annotated bibliography to fit on several slides? I think, should we enlarge them, the text, to make them more legible? We may have answered that question already.
Yes. I'll repeat myself for it, though. It's a good question. Yes. I encourage, in fact, in all categories, there's no page limit. It's all word count in all categories. So please go ahead and make the fonts bigger. The judges will appreciate it.
If it's a group project, should each student upload the file or just one of the group members upload it?
Only one of the group members needs to upload it, and it should update to all of the students because they're all connected to that project. Should we run into a problem with that, we will reach out to you and say there's a problem, but that's the way it has always worked so far. So we don't anticipate any issues there.
Right now, it looks like, except for Stephen, I think we answered his last question. But if anybody else has questions, can you please raise your hands? Stephen, did we answer your question?
So can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, thank you. I just want to just verify. So the documentary gets converted into an MP4, and then we take that MP4 and we put it in WeTransfer, and then we send it, and then we upload it onto your system, right? I'm sorry.
What will happen is after you send it through WeTransfer, you will receive an email that will have a short URL. And the short URL is what you're going to enter into the ZFair system so that we can then go and recall the documentary.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Evan, you had a question?
Yes. So when I go into ZFairs to register, I don't actually see somewhere I can register for the state contest, and we use ZFairs for the regional. But I can see my students that qualified. Do I just, by click on them and printing the invoice, does that automatically register them?
They still need to go in and complete all the permission forms.
Okay.
So you can go in and complete the payment process for them, but every student needs to go individually and complete all their permission forms. Now, some of those permission forms don't apply because we won't be having an in-person contest. There won't be a photographer, so the photo permission doesn't really apply. But still, they need to go and they do all those permissions. And then there's a few other things they need to do. But it's a very quick thing. It'll take a few minutes for them each.
All right. So I've already successfully registered then as a teacher. So on ZFair, so that part is already taken care of for teacher registration.
Right.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll allow Raskoska, I believe. Sorry, I'm not saying your name properly, but if you want to ask your question. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Sorry. So I just wanted to know if it was possible for us to change the name of our projects after, like from regionals to states.
Yes, it is. And what you'll do is, I hope everybody can see this. I can. It's now covered up by let me see if I can move this. There, I can move it. Okay. So what you'll do is you'll log in and you'll go to your profile. And when this pops up, now it's down here where you can't see it, but the name of the project, oh no, I'm sorry, project title is right up here. So you'll go ahead and change the project, the title right there, and it'll change. It'll go all throughout the system and it'll change. So yes, you can do that.
Next question from James is it $50 per project or $50 per student?
The $50 fee is per student.
Okay. From Nadia, is the deadline for all projects to be submitted on the April 22nd, or is it just for websites?
That is for all projects. We need everything uploaded by April 22nd.
Okay, let me just see here. Jeff, I believe we've answered everybody's question. I hope we have.
Okay, very good. Then let me close by thanking you all again for coming here. Thanking the students, thanking the teachers. I don't know, students, teachers, parents, whoever's out there. Thank you for helping us keep this program going this year.
Late hand,
really,
Jeff.
What's that?
Late
Late
hand.
hand. Stephen has
Sorry.
another question.
Okay.
I understand that some of the regions had trouble. They delayed their competitions. Do you expect that all regions are going to be sending in be able to have their students participate in states, or are we just having, I think there's 11 or 12 regions. Do you expect all, or there's only going to be some?
We're still working on some of the issues. Some of the regions closed earlier than others, and we're still working out some of those issues.
Okay. And once the student was registered by the school for regionals, and the school doesn't have to re-register, right? That's when the student goes on to make the payment, the school's already registered because it registered to regionals.
Correct. Yes. All the student needs to do is complete the permissions and make payment, and they are all set.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I want to thank all of you for helping keep History Day moving forward. I think this is an interesting and challenging way to do the project. So please bear with us. We're going to have patience with you, and we hope that you have patience with us. We may run into some completely unexpected challenges, and we're going to work through them. But I want to reassure everybody that, as usual, I mean, it's our usual ethic, but more so than ever, we want to get your students' project in front of judges so that they can get the evaluation and the feedback that they have worked so hard to get. So thank you again, and let me know if you have any questions.
Jeff, you want to give them your email?
Yeah, my email is eddirector@armyheritage.org.